All right, it's 11:01, so let's get things started. So let me share my screen. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar. I'm the host, Benny Fatkish from Qualified. Super excited to talk about this topic, test smarter, not harder. Today, we just want to talk about artificial intelligence and software testing, and we kind of want to smash these two things together and see what comes out of it, which is going to be pretty amazing, as you might already guessed that. We had the same webinar, Natalia, one of my colleagues. She had in Spanish. She's a lot better than I am in this topic, but I'll try my best to share as much as I know with you guys. So I just want to be a little straight up with you guys. So I'm not artificial intelligence guru. I don't know a lot about it. I'm not even close to that. I do have colleagues like Gaston, Natalia, that are actually on the call. They're a lot better than I am. But what I've learned so far, I would love to share that with you guys. At the end, we just want to have question and answer, which I look at it more like as a brainstorming session. I hope I can learn something from you guys. If you have something to add, please go ahead. That's not just for question, that's for comments. Or if you have anything that you feel like everyone else can use that knowledge, please share it with us. So as I said, this is not, I'm not like a teacher and students. You guys, we just walk through this together. I want to share as much as I know from artificial intelligence and testing with you guys. So before wasting any more time, let's get to it. So testing today, some of you guys are on the call somehow familiar with software testing. And if you're not, that is not a problem. Software testing is nothing but making sure the application and the software is working as expected. There's nothing more than that. Very simple, but it's not that simple. Of course, we have a lot of different type of testing, but I'm not going to jump too deep into testing today, but I just want to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence, how it can help, and what we do at Qualified to actually make that happen. So the problem is, I don't say the problem, the reality of software testing is that it is brutal. The software and applications that you see these days are a lot different than 20 years ago. There's a lot more complication in these applications. They're very interconnected, and release cycle for these applications are shrinking down. It used to be every 2 to 3 months. Now it's every month, every 2 to 3 weeks. The users expect flawless performance instantly. The managers are actually constantly reaching out that we're going to have a new release. We're going to have a lot more testing coming up. So they want to test more, test faster, and test cheaper because the client has a certain amount of money and they want a flawless application with no bug. Now, obviously, as you guys know, this is impossible. And it's getting harder and harder. And we see that the application and softwares are out. Whether they have performance issue, we have cyber attacks, or sometimes we see defects, and it's growing. So what we can do about that? Now, luckily, the last decade, we've seen actually artificial intelligence in everything. You see beer commercial to Cheetos to like everything, they're applying artificial intelligence. So why not using artificial intelligence in software testing, right? So we talked about the speed of it. It makes things faster, but AI is not just making software testing faster. It's not just about speed. It's also about accuracy and precision. So whether you're a functional tester, automation tester, performance tester, by automating repetitive checks and analyzing patterns, something that you do every single day, it frees up a lot of focus for manual tester to be able to focus on strategic testing. So there are a lot of things like spotting potential issues before they appear or highlighting risk-prone areas. AI can be a tool. It could be a partner that can help us in testing. And if I give you guys an example, now, for those of you guys that are tester, you're familiar with what smoke testing and regression testing is. And for those of you guys that are not tester, smoke testing is making sure the application is tested in a in a stable environment. The environment, as you can know, smoke, it's in the air for maybe a few seconds. So you just want to quickly test, everything's fine. And regression testing is nothing but making sure that all the functionalities after a certain change in the code, it's still working fine. So think about these two examples, smoke test and regression test. We spend a lot of our time as testers running these tests. Now, when developers make a change, we run a certain number of test cases. Now, if we applying artificial intelligence, they can easily create a smoke test suite that has more potential to catch that defect. So it's constantly evolving in, rather than I just run a certain number of tests, even though it doesn't actually cover all the applications. So what artificial intelligence does is actually constantly reviewing that, hey, it tells me, Benny, these are the test cases that you've been running and you didn't find any defects. So why are you not replacing that with better test cases that are capable of catching those issues and defects? So these are the reasons that we're using basically artificial intelligence. Now, what can it do for us? You probably already know what artificial intelligence does, but I just want to get a little deeper into it and give you guys an example. Think about, as a tester, you have 500, 600 test cases, right? And my manager comes to me, and I am a tester, by the way. And, I work with a lot of managers. So I know exactly this is a real life scenario. And I only have today, which is Thursday, and Friday to test all of that. Now, this is a lot of pressure. How can I prioritize these test cases? It's impossible, right? I mean, I can think about some of them are important or not. What artificial intelligence can do here is like, hey, Benny, you have 500 test cases, right? There are 100 of these test cases that there's 90% chance you find a defect, right? Start with those ones, and that will already cover 90%. So even if I don't get to the other 400 by close of business on Friday, I already tested 90%. Now, of course, we want 100%, but think about how AI can help me. It's basically like a teammate that doesn't sleep, doesn't complain, has an incredible photographic memory, doesn't need coffee, and constantly helping me to optimize my testing and making it more and more efficient. Now, I'm not going to jump very, very deep in like algorithm and testing. Well, number one reason, because I'm not that familiar with it, but to a high level, I just want to go a little bit and talk about what are these algorithms, and most importantly, how they're going to test, how they're going to help us with testing, right? Keep that in mind. They're not going to test for us, right? We still need the tester to execute those test cases and test steps. But what they can do is, if you can see the slide, decision trees, sport vector, machine neural networks, and clusters. Some of you guys are actually, I know your name on this call, that you know a lot more than deep learning than I do. But I just want to talk a little bit of how these can help you with testing. Now, some of you guys are testers. Imagine you have a couple of thousands of test cases for your applications, whether you're in healthcare, whether you're in financial, whether you're in government, manufacturing. You have these test cases, you've been running them all the time. Now, decision tree and to a degree support vector machine, what they do is they took all the past failures that you had, organized them in a way that some of those test cases are more susceptible to basically defects. So you start with those ones, and they go to past experience and use that to find the ones that are more red flags, and you cannot think about them and bring them on top. So as a tester, you'll be able to start with those ones that has priority and more severity without bias analysis or sometimes subjective way of thinking that we're like, well, maybe this test case should come first. Well, AI do it with a lot more precision than we can do it. And then neural network and clustering. So they go over your old test cases defects, right? Some of the defects that you opened, And if you guys use traceability matrix, they actually link that to the requirement that you have, which is amazing. Think about that. It's very rare for us to be able to list all of this, learn that, and adjust our next test cases, next set of test cases, which artificial intelligence can automatically do that and evolve, and making sure that every time that we're running these test cases, we're getting better and better. For example, there's a mobile test behaves very differently from the other, so there might be hidden defects there, and it will find that, and I will ask you that you need to add this test case to the set of test cases you already have. So let's I'm sorry, let me just go, where were we? So a real world example. So a lot of things that I can think of, but this is something that one of my colleagues actually shared that with me, which she works in a financial institution. It's basically a bank, and it was about to launch. They were about to launch a mobile app, and AI detected a very, very rare login issue. So that only happens in slow network. So I do have slow internet. I can afford Fios. Some of you guys have very, very high speed internet, which is great. But if you're a tester and your company provides you with really high speed internet, which is great, but you're not able to catch that. It's almost impossible unless you bring down the speed of your internet. Who does that, right? And they found that this slow internet speed, right? For those users, they found a rare bug that only appeared after password reset on a slow network. So think about that example. This is nothing functional, right? So that issue could have affected thousands of customers around the world that using a slow network. So AI didn't really replace the tester here, right? It amplifies the reach. So finding basically a needle in a haystack, something that is, I can say, virtually impossible for a tester to find. And since we talked about how AI work and not replacing tester, we also need to be realistic that there are certain limitations for artificial intelligence. Now, of course, it's amazing. Everybody's talking about AI. Wow, that's great. That's a hot topic today. But we need to be realistic. It is a tool. It's not magic. It's not miracle. I'm not that old, but people that remember 70s, there was a saying that when the calculator was invented, people thought it's going to replace math teachers, right? It didn't replace math teachers. It made the calculation a lot easier, but we still have math teachers. I mean, some of us might not love our math teachers, but they're still doing their work, but we still applying using calculators. Even though they're very, very advanced, we still need somebody to teach us those concepts. The same thing as artificial intelligence. A lot of companies, a lot of people that we talk with that think about, which we understand that we in Qualify, we're trying to help you to improve your testing with artificial intelligence. We're not going to replace them. This is extremely important because we still need humans to interpret results and making judgment calls. So yes, AI produce false positive or misseveral issues, but we got to understand that we have to see artificial intelligence as a partner, not as a replacement. So if I'm a tester, and I am a tester, I like AI because it makes me a better tester and I'm not losing my job. So it's still a tool. It's not like a lot of people, what's going to happen as a QA, as a tester? Am I going to lose my job? The only thing that's going to happen is you'll be a better tester, and we will have better applications in the future. And that's what we hope to happen in Qualify. So what we've been able to accomplish, our team, they've been developing a tool that I'm going to give a quick demo in a few minutes. What this tool has, which I'm still exploring, I'm still playing around and learning, which is absolutely amazing. One of my colleagues, Natalia, she actually gave me a demo a few days ago, and I was like, this is amazing. Imagine you guys using ChatGPT all the time, right? Please tell me you're using that and I'm pretty sure all of you guys are using it on a daily basis. Now, we have a tool just like Gemini, just like ChatGPT, that has specific assistant for every area of testing, from requirement gathering to creating test cases, to creating traceability matrix, to analyze test cases, create test steps, bias detection, for security testing, API testing, automation, performance testing. So as a company, you have all these people, all these testers that can have a partner, a very, very, very intelligent partner that can help them become a better tester. So of course, you guys were like, okay, what's the difference between that and ChatGPT? You can use ChatGPT, or Gemini, but this tool specifically was designed, and I'm gonna find this video. Well, it doesn't have audio. As you see that right now, every little cube that you see is actually designed to help you with an area of testing. So when you click on that, it will give you some objectives, some instruction on how you can actually use this assistant. And once you actually select the tool, select the assistant, you have a chat box. You will just write down, hey, I need to analyze this. I want you to actually create me requirements. And this tool is actually capture all that you gather and the information that you provide, which again, this is the point I was talking about, guys. This is the point that as a tester, you got to provide enough information. You got to provide enough details so the assistant can help you. And then voila. So you can see all the information that is provided you. And then as you go through it, you will ask more questions. And it gets closer and closer and closer to the point that you want your assistant to get, or the point of satisfaction. Let's put it that way. So again, you can just get out of this. At this point, you will see that you can go to the dashboard on the left side. You see all the assistants, and let's say you select something else like test case design, right? So it will just provide you with the steps. It will provide you with objective, and then you have your assistant, which is the chat box. Pretty standard chat box. You can attach document, and based on what you provide, what question you provide, what information you provide, it will give you the answer. And think about that. If you're a tester and using this tool, as you provide, and you're working on a certain project, right? You're working on application ABC for a bank. The more information you provide, that assistant is going to learn more and more about ABC application, and it's going to help, and it's going to be much easier for that assistant to help you with the next question on the next day and next week and next month. So constantly getting smarter and smarter as you provide them with more information. Now, I talked about assistants, right? What if you join this project and you don't know which assistant you're going to use? You're like, I'm a test manager and I like this tool, but I'm kind of have a problem to find an assistant. Would you have an agent, right? So agent is basically, think about customer service or a front desk. When you call the company, you call the front desk and be like, my name is Benny and I need help with this. They will connect you with the right person. So you have the option of picking the specific assistant, depends on your project. Or if you're not sure, you're like, I have no idea, help me out. We have an agent that you can provide your information, but like, hey, this is my project. I do have requirement. I do have these test cases, but I would like to create an automation framework. So that agent be like, this is the right assistant, or these are the 2 or 3 right assistants that you can just put these questions over there. So it will help you to find the right assistant, which for me is actually pretty substantial for people that new to their projects or don't have the confidence to pick the right assistant. And as you can see in the video, it's just like keep showing you actually how you using those assistants, what questions you ask, and how you actually provide information to get the right answer. So that was the tool, and I know that I mean, we have more videos regarding that tool that you can find it online. I just want to pause this one and go back to the presentation. Now, that was pretty much what I had today, which I wanted to keep it short and simple and get to the exciting part of the webinar. Now, the presentation part is over, but you guys see at the bottom right of your screen. I believe it's in the bottom right. Correct me, someone, if you cannot see that or see it somewhere else. You guys have any question? Please write. And it's not just questions. If you have anything that you would like to share with everyone, if you know more about artificial intelligence, you know better tool, please share that with us. And I'll be happy to answer those as best as I can. And by the way, if you guys are very deep into like artificial intelligence and deep learning and asking those like really techie questions, I will try my best to answer those, but I have colleagues that be able to answer that better, and they will reach out to you and answer. Natalia, excuse me, recommendation for getting started from scratch with Assistant Agent for testing. Great question. Yes, so we will start with a kickoff meeting. So we will just learn more about your projects. That's the first thing. We're not here to tell you exactly you need to use this tool. Sometimes you probably don't even need the tool. You probably already have some solid thing in place. It can help you maybe improve your automation framework. Sure. But sometimes we ask you questions and we realize that you don't have any testing in place. So we can use either agent to find the right assistant, or we can ask you if we can provide you with the tool and you know exactly what assistant you want to use, and you can do that. And starting that, if I want to answer it shorter, it would be a kickoff meeting, which we actually give you a demo on the tool. And based on that demo, we can make that decision that what assistant better suit for that specific project that you're working on. I need some tea or coffee. All right, what else we have? Let's see. All right. Ali, well, thank you, Joe, so much for joining. Which AI model, ChatGPT, Claude, works best for software testing your experience? So if it comes to software testing, using ChatGPT, yes, of course, works, right? That's a great question. And I mentioned that in the presentation. It's like using Excel for executing your test cases. Does it work? Yes. Is that a good idea? Not for me. As a tester, I would like to use a tool that's specifically designed for testing. So if you're working for a company and you're actually serious about applying artificial intelligence, I wouldn't recommend to even go toward ChatGPT. Unless it's something really quick, you just want a quick answer, ChatGPT. I would use ChatGPT and Gemini, but I would rather use a tool that's specifically designed for testing. Great question, Ali. Jorge, what about the data attachment for assistant? As it says somewhere, I mean, what about privacy and client data for the project? Great question about attachment. And another great question about the privacy. Going back to what Ali asked about ChatGPT and Gemini, this is something that actually the presentation I got from this tool. Yes, you can attach, and yes, these attachment is going to be safe. However, we do have a good security platform in Qualify that makes sure that our projects is actually, you have this safety, and we guarantee that privacy of your project and information that you share, because a lot of these projects are actually, it's confidential information. Some of them are government related. So we are aware of that. And the confidentiality is going to be, we take that very seriously in Qualify. And I'm very glad you asked this question. So that is one of the reasons that I prefer as a test, not use open source tools like ChatGPT and Gemini. I'm going to quickly go. Gabby, thank you for joining. It is possible to integrate the assistant with other tools like Selenium, test management tools, and more. Yes, it is. And yes, we can do that here in Qualify. So if you guys are having automation tool like UFD, like Selenium, using Cucumber framework, using tools like JMeter, using tools like LoadRunner, Karate, Insomnia for API testing, we actually, I would say almost 100% there to guarantee that those tools are integrated with what we have with our AI tool that helps you with testing. Great question. A lot of people actually have this question. Anaita, thanks for joining. Thanks for making this AI tool also support 5.0 accessibility. You know, my favorite topic. One of the tools, yes. It's actually, I know we're using JAWS. So Anaita is one of my colleagues. Joined the call. So we actually do a lot of accessibility testing. For screen reading, not, but for creating requirements, right? For accessibility, yes, we actually do have that. So let's say that you would like to start working on accessibility testing or even 508 compliance, that which specifically for United States government, we do have a separate assistant that can help you creating those requirements. Great question. Did I miss any question? Hopefully not. I apologize for coughing a lot. I should have made my tea before. All right. What else, guys? What do we have here? Who got something to share? All right. I'm going to be here for another minute or two in case someone else have any question. And just to let you guys know, this webinar is going to be recorded and it's going to be shared in YouTube. So you can just reach out to us, info@qualify.com. We can just provide you with the link. I mean, you can just look it up in YouTube if you're missing any part of that. And of course, if you wanted to learn more about the tool, you can just reach out to us. We will just give you a demo on how you specifically, depends on the project you're working on, how you can use this tool, which is going to be amazing. There are a lot of little things that I still playing around and learning about it, and you're going to enjoy, and you'll be surprised how it can help you. Oh, there's another question. Which tool for 508? You said yes, but which tools? So the screen reader is JAWS, and that's the only one that I'm aware of. I'm not sure if there are other tools that is integratable with the AI tool that we have. Yes, I did forget. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, how are those assistants created? How do you evaluate the functionality and effectiveness? So what I've actually learned, I actually asked this question from my colleagues about a week ago. And that was the answer that actually they gave me, which is pretty exciting. I was very, it was very new to me, like how they did that. It's our testers actually in Qualified. They started to testing that. The more they started asking questions with specific project, the better answer they got. And that's how actually they evaluated the functionality and effectiveness of this tool. So of course, they started with the algorithm, they started creating this assistance, but then the existing project that they were working on, they used the same system, our testers, and they realized that the answers makes more and more sense, and that's why they created those assistants. All right, let's see what else. All right. Anita's, I just want to make sure that I answer your question. If not, you can just ask that again. All right. So I hope I'm not wrapping this up early. If not, guys, you can still watch that on YouTube. And well, obviously, you can ask your questions there. We're going to be there to answer your questions as best as we can. Again, Natalia and Gaston, my colleagues, they're like knowing a lot more than I do in artificial intelligence testing. So I'm pretty sure they'll be able to answer your questions there, or you can just email us and we'll be happy to not only answer your question, but provide you with a demo so we can dive deeper in this tool. And thank you so much, guys, for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.